Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today I have a couple of relationship stories for you, both with updates, and both are very infuriating. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from Butt Knuckles. My 26 female, husband's 30 male, best friend 29 male, just kissed me and I'm unsure of what to do. I, 26 female, am an immigrant that recently relocated to another country to be with my husband, 30 male, after being long distance with him for several years. Needless to say, my husband is my best friend, and I love him deeply. Because I've struggled making my own friends here, I am on friendly terms with my husband's friends. They are all, for the most part, decent people, and welcome me with open arms, which I am grateful for. We all occasionally hang out and it's never really been an issue. Recently, I began planning a surprise party for my husband's birthday, and I figured I would reach out to his friends about planning to see if they wanted to help. Enter my husband's best friend Adam, 29 male. Adam has been my husband's friend for about 10 years now. Adam is married with a wife of his own who I am friends with. Adam immediately was very supportive of my ideas and was insistent on helping. Many times he offered to drive me around the city to go to different stores since my husband and I don't have a car, which I would decline since I don't want to cause him any hassle. He would offer to use his place of work as the location for the party. He works at a fancy restaurant. Again, I would decline because my husband isn't the type of person to enjoy birthday celebrations like that. But I would let him know I appreciated his kind offer and that I felt he was being a very kind and generous friend. He was fairly persistent, but I figured it was just because he wanted to make his friend's birthday memorable. Fast forward to this week, Adam texted me and told me he had his birthday gift for my husband, but he would need help loading it up in his car. I asked about what it was, but he just said a joke about how I would tell my husband, so I couldn't know. I didn't think anything of it and agreed to help him today. We drove to the store, got the gift, wrapped, but it was big and heavy, and drove back. He put the car in park, and as I started getting out, he reached out to me and kissed me. I was taken aback and immediately pulled away. I asked him what he was doing, and he said that he thought I was cute and he wanted to shoot his shot. I asked him about my husband, and he said that he didn't need to know. I was just overwhelmed and couldn't begin to wrap my mind around what was happening. He apologized and said he thought I was sending signals because of me saying he was a kind and generous person. He then said that my husband can't know about it because my husband would blame me and would divorce me. I'd have to go back to my home country, etc. I got out of the car and just went inside. My husband was at work, so he doesn't know. I have a lot of conflicting feelings. I know I want to tell my husband because of how Adam went about this proves that he doesn't have my husband's best intentions in mind and is incredibly selfish. My issue arises in how to go about telling him. I am super upset about this whole thing because it's a weird place to be in. I doubt my husband won't believe me because we have a good trust in each other, but I am nervous as to how this will affect the relationship. I'm nervous he will redirect those feelings of betrayal towards me. If that's the case, would it be justified? I just need some guidance on how to approach this for minimal damage to my husband. I know it's bound to happen, but I obviously don't want to hurt him if I can. I appreciate any advice. OP added an edit down below. It says, "Edit, I have seen everyone's comments saying to tell my husband the truth. I am planning on telling him when he gets home. However, there seems to be some confusion as to what I'm asking for here. I know I want to tell him, but I am unsure how to tell him without it having an effect on our relationship. My husband is a good man, but no one wants to be the bearer of bad news that their friend that they have known for years is an awful and manipulative person. I don't know how to breach the subject in a gentle way. I tend to let my emotions get the better of me, and this event has me thinking rather compulsively. I don't want to hurt my husband more than necessary. Any advice on how to tell him would be appreciated. Depending on what happens, I'll update when I can." Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Chris Lives in Alaska. It says, I had an acquaintance hit on my girlfriend in my own house. I caught him following her downstairs when he had no reason to be there. He was surprised and mumbled a few words, and my girlfriend was also surprised as she was confused as to why he had followed her. Needless to say, that guy was no longer welcome in my home, and I only ever saw him once again and simply ignored him that one time. I would tell your husband so that you can control the story. This dirtbag may lie to others about you or maybe even to your husband. He's already demonstrated that he has no integrity. I would want my wife to come to me when these things occurred. It's one thing to have a strange man hit on your woman, but it's something else completely when a friend pulls this BS. Show your husband these responses in Reddit and ask him what he would want his wife to do. OP responded to this comment and said, "Were you upset with your girlfriend or hold any ill feelings? Did it have any impact on your relationship? I am nervous that this will cause trust issues that are unneeded as I love my husband very much. I don't know how to assure him that I didn't warrant this. Should I also maybe show the text between his friend and I?" OP, I firmly believe in open and honest communication with your spouse. If something like this happens, you absolutely need to tell them. You didn't do anything wrong here, it's the friend, and that friend needs to not be a friend anymore. If this quote-unquote friend is willing to give you a kiss without your consent and then threaten you with deportation, what else are they willing to do? You need to push this friend out of the friend group completely. Your husband needs to know, and that's the end of that. Alright, OP added an update to this story. It's titled, "Update, my 26 female, husband's 30 male, best friend 29 male, just kissed me and I'm unsure of what to do." Hi everyone, it's been a doozy over the last few days, and my post wasn't really all that popular, but I figured I'd update for those that may be curious. Before I go into big details, I just wanted to say thank you for your advice. My husband came home a few days ago and I surprised him with his favorite meal. I had a day off and was a ball of nervous energy, so I had cleaned the house, did laundry, and cooked. Basically, I wanted the environment to be as stress-free as possible for my husband because I knew it was going to be hard on him. So we sat down to eat, and he had been able to tell lately that something's been bothering me and asked me what was going on. So I told my husband as gently as I could, and he was understandably upset. Thankfully, Adam didn't get to him before I did, and he believed me. I know a lot of people were worried about Adam telling my husband lies about what had actually happened before I was able to, but this didn't happen, thankfully. He was really mad at Adam for kissing me, but especially mad at him threatening me with deportation. We talked it through and after a few hours came to the conclusion that in order to protect my residency, we would file a police report for assault against Adam. Thank you to those who suggested this. As we talked, Adam sent me a text message that said this: "Hey, I just wanted to check in on you to make sure you remembered what I said to you in my car yesterday. I really don't want you to go back to home country. I've also been thinking of you. Call me when you get this. We have things we need to talk about." Yeah, creepy stuff, plus low-key threats. It had my husband seeing red and me feeling scared. So we went to the police station the same night I told him. They seemed freaked out by Adam's most recent text and agreed it seemed like a veiled threat. So I filed a police report and they are investigating. As other Redditors pointed out, I wasn't the only victim in this situation. The next day, I texted Adam's wife when I knew Adam was working to see if she wanted to meet up, and she said sure. So we met up and I told her what happened. I showed her the text and sadly, she didn't take it too well. It's understandable, but this is what I worried about. She seemed to think that I flirted with him, called me a homewrecker. I know this was probably out of lashing out, but it still made me feel bad, both for her and me for Adam putting us in this situation. It's sad I lost a friend. Shortly after I met with his wife, Adam started blowing up my phone, but I didn't answer. I assume his wife confronted him or the police called him. I'm not sure what set him off. He then sent me a bunch of texts that just got crazier and crazier to the point where I didn't feel safe. So I called my husband who was at work and he told me that Adam was also blowing his phone up too. We ended up calling the police because Adam was threatening to come to our apartment and do what he should have done when I was in his car. Satisfying ending, sort of. He was detained by police for making what they deemed a credible threat against me. It's still an ongoing situation, and I'm a bit upset by how this whole thing essentially blew up. But at least my family and I are okay. The most important thing I'm focusing on is recognizing that what happened isn't my fault, and that I am a victim here. Also, therapy going forward. Overall, this experience has shown me how quickly people can change once they don't get their way. If you had told me a week ago that Adam was a nice guy, I would have laughed at you. As we went through Adam and I's very few interactions, my husband agreed that there wasn't any mixed signals. Adam had completely made it up in his head, or, as some of you pointed out, was trying to take advantage of a woman in a vulnerable position. I am fortunate that I got the support and protection I needed. It's certainly a great way to start off a new life in a new country, that's for sure. Anyways, I wanted to say thanks for all the comments and support my last post got. My husband read the post and was thankful that I wasn't dealing with this situation by myself. Thanks, internet. Also, shout out to my husband for literally handling this in the most amazing way. Lucky to have him, so give him some internet love. Now, OP added another edit on this one. It says, I'm seeing some people saying negative things about Adam's wife. I feel it's important to remind Redditors that she is just as much of a victim here as I am. Adam and her have been together for a lengthy period of time, and it makes sense that in her hurt, she would lash out on the person closest. Adam's wife was very kind to me and the first friend I made in the country. She would check in on me daily and invite me to meet her friends, cook food for me, help me find work, etc. She has never once been malicious towards me, and I see no reason to believe she will start now. And I hold no ill will to her either. In fact, I hope she's able to find peace because she did not deserve what Adam did to her and their family. The only person in the situation that deserves your negativity is behind bars currently. Please be respectful to her as she holds a place close to my heart. Jumping down to the comment section, we have one from a user called Lizzie. It says, I'm glad you filed a report against him. Who knows how many other women he has forced with threats into situations they don't want to be in. Also, kudos to your husband for being your rock. Being kind to someone is not flirting. There were no signals. It was clear he was trying to manipulate you from the start and trying to trick you into his car. I'm glad it didn't go worse for you because his threat makes it seem like he had something much worse than a kiss planned. Hopefully, you make more friends in your community. Good luck. OP responded to this one and said, this was something the investigator said. I don't want to say much for risk of saying too much, but they seem to think he's done this type of thing before. I'm just thankful that I have the support system I do and that law enforcement took me seriously. OP, for how hard this guy was trying to get you alone in the car, I knew it wasn't just a kiss that was on his mind. I think we'll leave it at that. I'm extremely happy to know that this guy's behind bars where he belongs, and you and your husband can move on with your lives. And by the way, it sounds like you have a great husband. Hold on to him as tight as you can and never let him go. This story comes to us from Biswal. Overheard my 26 male, fiance, 24 female, tell her friend on the phone that she settled for being with me and that marrying me was her last resort. Basically the title, I overheard my wife talking to one of her best friends on the phone while I was passing the bedroom. This friend is in a serious relationship. My wife then said to her, "Sweetie, remember it's your choice. Don't settle for just anyone. That's the mistake I made. Who knows who else I could have had? OP was my very last resort, and now look where it made me end up." Hearing that honestly broke my heart in two. Does she even love me? Why am I being treated as a second base? Am I being dramatic and overreacting? I haven't said anything about it since. I honestly don't know what to do, but hearing her say that has really made me upset. OP added a couple of updates on this one. The first one says, edit update, thanks everyone for the kind words. Really has made me feel a lot better. Going to be talking to her soon. Also, I noticed a lot of people thinking this post is fake. I understand how it could be seen that way, but it isn't. I've been engaged to her for over a year and a half, and just 3 months ago, we got married. Not really used to calling her my wife yet. Also, I used an old alt since she uses Reddit. Anyways, thanks for the advice, everyone. It amazes me how people on the internet can care so much about a person they don't even know. I'm going to talk to her today. I will be updating you all soon after. Well, OP did post that update, and whew, here we go. It's called Update 2. Just did one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Today, after breakfast, I told her we should sit down and talk. She was hesitant, but I said it was important. We went to the living room, and she said to me, "I already know what this is about." My post apparently made it to the front page, so of course she saw it after scrolling down a bit under popular. Of course, the waterworks started happening right away. I told her what she had said deeply hurt me, but obviously she already knew that since she read my post. Through her tears, she said, "I was just joking. I wasn't serious." She then went on saying stuff like, "I love you. I love you." I told her I can't be in a marriage where my significant other doesn't love me the same way I love them. She tried to tell me that she loved me and that I meant something to her, but it was all BS. She said she doesn't want to lose me. I told her I don't think this marriage was the right decision. And from there, I basically told her it was over. I told her I knew how she really felt about me and that it was effed, yo. She basically played with my emotions. For all those wondering, we have no kids and I pay fully for the apartment we live in, and I own almost everything we have other than her clothes. I even pay for her car. So after all of this, she'll have little to nothing left. Before our marriage, we agreed to sign a prenup, and at that moment, I've never been so happy with the decision I've made in my life. After that, it was a few seconds of awkward silence before she said to me, "F you." She started screaming at me, telling me, "You just can't end things like that." I told her I could do whatever I wanted, and that's when she became very hostile. She screamed at me saying, "You're the effing worst relationship I've ever been in. You think I can't find someone again? Do you think you'll ever find someone as good as me? You're an effing idiot, OP." She grabbed her bag and phone and said, "I'm leaving," before slamming the door behind her. And that moment, I felt like I was on one of those dramatic sitcoms you'd find on TV. I sat down on the couch and cried, and I'm still crying as I type this up. It's both happy and sad tears, and I knew it was only time before she cheated on me or left me. She never loved me, it was obvious. Our relationship only went one way, and I feel like a complete idiot for not seeing it earlier. I live in California, and I'm gonna start the process to annul our marriage. Tomorrow, I'm gonna start throwing all of her belongings into trash bags, because that's essentially where they belong. I'm not throwing her stuff out, just using the trash bags as a way to give her back the things she owns. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your kind words and your great advice. All of you gave me the courage to stand up for myself, and I know my life will certainly improve as a result. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Jeremy JM. It says, "Be your first choice." OP, I've said this on this channel many times, but life is too short and you deserve to be happy. And that relationship was definitely not going to be happy for you. OP, I wish you luck with your new life, and I hope you don't have to hear from her anymore. Were you upset with your girlfriend or hold any ill feelings? Were you upset with your girlfriend or hold any ill feelings?